Last week, I drove to Breckenridge, Colorado, and spent the night at 9,000 feet at below freezing temps so that I could acclimate to that elevation and have a sleep test. We're trying to get to the bottom of why I'm having such low blood oxygen in my system. And lo and behold, despite spending a night there in advance, despite beating a storm that I knew was racing for the Rockies, the sleep people didn't bother to show up. Nor did they text me, nor did they call me, nor did they notify hospital administration. So there I was, left sitting, and finally I spent another night and went back to Denver. So what does all of this have to do with being a nomad? Well, I think being a nomad, at least part of being a nomad, is finding health care while you're on the road. And I am having the hardest time finding health care while I'm on the road. And after all, if you can't stay healthy, well, it's one of the factors you should consider when you're thinking about whether you want to go on the road at all. So, guess what happened next? Oh, I raised hell with the doctors, and they raised hell with the sleep study people, and I got an email and an apology. And I guess that's the best you're going to do. What am I going to do? Sue them for the cost and inconvenience? I don't want to go down that road. But what they said is get up here right away and we'll do it tonight. So I'm heading to Breckenridge. Unfortunately, today I slept just beautifully, and it would have been better if I was going up there on not such a great night's sleep. But sometimes you just can't control these things. You have to roll the dice and take them for what they are. And so here I am, racing off to Breckenridge again. So wish me luck. Fortunately, we don't have any severe storm. I expect the road to be clear. They do have the traction law in effect tonight, but that's just because of the ice on the road, and I should be fine going up there. So wish me the best of luck, and we'll keep you posted. So, I used a lot of oxygen this week, and this is how I carry the empty bottles. I dump them in the front seat so they're easy to unload. So here I am racing back up to the mountains. The sleep study people apologized. They claim they left me a voicemail not to come. And I checked my voicemails, and they didn't leave me a voicemail. There is no voicemail from the sleep lab. It means they just blew me off. And I understand that they had some weather issues. There's a pass called Hoosier Pass, which is far worse than I-70, and apparently their techs had to go over that. And by the time they would have been over it, they probably had the chain law in effect, which it was very rare for the state to put the chain law in effect for passenger vehicles. But they did. So I contacted them today, and they want me to come right up. That's because they happen to have an empty bed today. And they're not a bit concerned about whether I'm acclimated to the elevation. Remember, this is supposed to be a sleep study at altitude because I'm not doing very well at altitude. And honestly, I'm not doing great at other altitudes, but certainly better than when I'm at 9,000 feet. So I'm on my way. I gotta watch the traffic here. I'm on my way racing up to the mountains so they can make their $4,000 and I'll have a sleep study done. And I think at some point you just have to do what you have to do so that you can move ahead. And for me, this is moving ahead. So here we go. Another adventure. So no video would be complete of going to the mountains without showing all the traffic you have to go through to get to the mountains. And, well, I'm in it. So I stopped at Georgetown along the way. It's about halfway there, and my nerves were just frayed. at driving on these icy roads in the darkness. So we are at the Eisenhower Tunnel. That's the westbound tunnel on I-70. For some reason they have traffic stopped. Looks like they just turned green, so traffic is going to be moving again. So I'm almost there. It's a pretty fast downhill from here. Just keep off the brakes because it's icy as hell. But oh, here's why. A little snack. Noodles. The noodles honestly looked like ramen noodles, but the topping was incredible. I really enjoyed it. Here we are at the hospital one more time. Second time in a week. We are here to complete a sleep study, so no emergency, not life-threatening, at least not at this point. And I'm just hoping that this time the sleep study people show up and that it gets done professionally. That's my concern now, that it won't be professionally completed. And I think that's a pretty rational concern, considering the history with these people. So we're going to pass a big medical office building and go all the way to the hospital proper. Summit County Medical. Had a damn cop on my tail. Fortunately, he can't see through my window. I thought that might be a local constabulary on my ass. I parked over here last time. I'm going to repeat that. Pretty close to the entrance, and I got a bunch of junk to take you, and I'm staying tonight. So. Well, so I'll try to keep you guys posted. It's always hit and miss. So we'll see what happens. So I got checked in downstairs. It's very interesting. I was here 3 days ago. Nobody remembers me. They treated me like they'd never seen me before. And I think that's what medicine is today, just a big running track, and people zoom in and out, and there's nothing personal about it anymore. And that's unfortunate. Well, anyway, and I'm short of breath. I'm now at 9,000 feet, and I have a hunch I'm suffering oxygen deprivation, but that's kind of the point of this study, is to find out how bad. So I managed the night at the hospital. They wake you up, hit 6 a.m., and boot you out. But the good part is, you can have breakfast, and I sure did. In fact, I think that's the best part about this hospital. The food is great. So the sleep test was marginally effective, at least from my point of view. It turns out they sent me this note yesterday saying, we're really sorry, and please call us and schedule a new appointment. And when I called the lady, she said, well, we're available tonight. Come up tonight. And I explained to them over a series of phone calls that I was concerned about not being able to acclimate quickly enough, and also that I'd slept until noon yesterday. It was kind of a sleep debt I'd built up by staying in that cold climate. I didn't sleep very well. And so I was concerned, having slept till noon, that I might not be able to get to sleep at 9 o'clock when they started their sleep study. And sure enough, I was still awake at 3 o'clock. So they said, well, if you don't sleep, you can retest. And actually, I asked, can I retest? And they have a new opening this Thursday, and then they're closed. And then, of course, all my deductibles go way up because we'll have a new year. And so I need to be in before the end of the year. And they said, yeah, if you don't sleep, under those circumstances, we'll retest and we won't charge you anything to retest. So the sleep study people say they will not retest me, even though yesterday they said if I didn't sleep, they would retest me. Today they're saying they're not going to retest me. They got plenty of information at from 3 until 6, and they don't need to retest me. So I'm not going to argue with them. I'm just so sick and tired of people that are in the medical system for $1. Sure, you're in it for $1. You're in it to make a living. We all have to make a living. But when you don't care about your customer, with your patient, then I really question the value of your service. And that's just said as straight as you can say it. I really question the value of your service. Hopefully we got some good results, and we'll have to see. So, if you like what you see, please press like. I would really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. And for sure, leave me your comments. Are you struggling to get medical services while on the road? How do you plan to get your medical services? How are you going to continue your insurance from state to state? That seems to be a problem. In my case, what I will do is come back to Colorado where I have my doctors. But what are you going to do? It would be interesting to hear what other people's solutions are. And if you have an insurance company that is open to traveling, I'd love to hear about that too. I read every single comment and I try to respond to every single comment. Sometimes I miss a comment and then I don't respond. But otherwise, if you write it, I'm going to respond. Even the bad ones, I respond. And there have been a few trolls who have said some ugly things, but let's not go there. Let's be positive. And so if you like the page, I would appreciate it. And leave your comment, I would appreciate it. And if you're new here, for sure, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell thingy. So if you subscribe, then you'll get notified of my next videos, and then you can decide if that one is one of interest. If you don't hit the bell thingy, then you won't even know I post the video. And, well, then you won't have the opportunity. I won't have the opportunity to hear from you. So I want to hear from every one of you, and I want to thank you for participating in my page. And we'll see you soon. This is Timothy Painter for The Van Life. Bye-bye.